session will now come to order. Is there an objection to the bill adopt the minutes? Speaker Bowman, opening roll call.
How come
Howdy, Speaker Albright. Myself. Chair Thornburg.
Howdy.
Chair Esparza.
Howdy.
Chair Caperton.
Howdy.
Chair Russo.
Howdy.
Chair McDuffie.
Howdy.
Senator Bell.
Howdy.
Senator Zoller.
Howdy.
Senator Sheffield.
Howdy.
Senator Radley. Senator Radley. Senator Webb.
Howdy.
Senator Hendler.
Howdy.
Senator Whitaker.
Howdy.
Senator Robertson.
Howdy.
Senator Tosh.
Howdy.
Senator Pulliam.
Howdy.
Senator Latham.
Howdy.
Senator Beatty.
Howdy.
Senator Davenport.
Howdy.
Senator Keever. Senator Landry. Senator Logsdon. Senator Elizabeth Smith. Senator Young. Senator Verdigan. Senator Menard. Senator Schindler. Senator Aguilera. Senator Weathers.
Howdy.
Senator Rachel Sullivan. Senator Brown. Senator Olson. Senator Nelson. Senator Liska. Senator Pena.
Howdy.
Senator Stevens.
Howdy.
Senator Brody Smith.
Howdy.
Chair Fitz.
Howdy.
Senator Wilson.
Howdy.
Senator Jordan Harris. Senator Jordan Harris. Director Reza.
Howdy.
Senator Colker. Senator Colker. Senator McDonald.
Howdy.
Senator Mark Womack.
Howdy.
Senator Lindsay Sullivan.
Howdy.
Senator Scoggins.
Howdy.
Senator Groskebauer.
Howdy.
Senator Hilton.
Howdy.
Senator Neidegger.
Howdy.
Senator Rogers. Senator Johnson.
Howdy.
Senator Lord.
Howdy.
Senator Rooney.
Howdy.
Senator Kulak. Senator Kulak. Senator Landis.
Howdy.
Senator Nietzsche.
Howdy.
Senator Prepley.
Howdy.
Senator LaMarche.
Howdy.
Senator Crow.
Howdy.
Senator Jody Harris.
Howdy.
Senator Riley.
Howdy.
Senator Lang.
Howdy.
Senator Lawson.
Howdy.
Senator Bender.
Howdy.
Senator Murad.
Howdy.
Senator Reichert.
Howdy.
Senator Barber.
Howdy.
Senator Falcon.
Howdy.
Senator Moquin.
Here.
Senator Kirk.
Here. Howdy.
Senator Hodges. Senator Cox. Senator Chaudhry. I'd like to compliment the body on what may be the best attendance ever at a Senate meeting.
With that, Chair McDuffie for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
If you please bow your head with me. Dear gracious and most heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity that we have to meet in this body today. We pray that with the important matters that we're going to address, that you would guide our hearts and minds to do your will. In your name we pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
The chair's been made aware of numerous items for open and working forum. First, Director of International Student Services. You have 5 minutes starting at halftime. Howdy.
Howdy.
I've been asked to address you today to talk a little bit about an issue that is on the table for discussion regarding Senate Bill 1528, which is what's also referred to as a 36-month provision in the Texas legislature. I'm going to come at this from two perspectives. I want to talk a little bit about first concept of status. Status is an immigration term that is used to refer to whether or not someone has permission to be in the United States, and that permission can only be conferred upon them by the federal government. That permission is determined oftentimes by the fact that they were admitted lawfully to the United States, and sometimes people can often end up out of status because of the fact that they violated the terms of their status or overstayed their permission to be here. I just want to remind everyone in this room that this permission, this status, is only granted by the federal government, most specifically the Department of Homeland Security. It is not granted by anyone at the state level, it is not granted by anyone at the university level, it is not granted by anyone in this room. So the issue that we deal with when we talk about status is the fact that we in this room cannot determine whether a person is or is not in status. Each individual case can be very complicated, can have a lot of elements to it, and it has to be determined by a federal official whether or not a person is in status. This is one of the reasons why admission to Texas A&M University is what we refer to as being status blind. People are admitted to Texas A&M University, every single one of you, based upon the fact that you are academically qualified to come to this university. And I am proud of that because I am a graduate of Texas A&M and hopefully will be graduating again in May of 2011. Thank you very much. So let me talk a little bit about Senate Bill 1528. Senate Bill 1528, also referred to as a 36-month provision, is a benefit that is afforded to, is a benefit that allows students to pay in-state tuition based on the fact that they have lived in Texas for at least 36 months, graduated from a Texas high school, and then were accepted to and admitted to Texas A&M University. It also applies to every state institution in the state of Texas. Keep in mind that our revenue for Texas A&M University and for all state institutions comes from tax revenue. In the state of Texas, we do not pay a state income tax. Tax revenue comes from property tax, it comes from sales tax, and everyone who lives here pays these consumption taxes every day that they're here. As long as you buy something, you're paying it. So, the premise of Senate Bill 1528, or the 36-month provision, is that people who have been here for at least 36 months have been paying into this tax revenue, this revenue stream that supports our institution. So when we talk about giving in-state tuition benefit to somebody who has been residing here in Texas for 36 months, it is only fair to say that they've been paying into this tax revenue stream and supporting public institutions in Texas the entire time. So bottom line is, the beneficiaries of in-state tuition have been paying into the system for at least a 3-year period. They've earned this benefit. They've also earned admission to Texas A&M University, and therefore they are part of this family that we refer to as the Aggie family. Bottom line, they've earned the right to be here. They've earned the right to pay in-state tuition, and it has absolutely nothing to do with our emotions or our issues that we feel about immigration reform or immigration issues that are dealt with federal law.
Thank you. With that, we'll move back into open forum. Evan Lane. You have 2.5 minutes starting
I
now.
don't need the PowerPoint, actually.
Howdy.
Howdy.
I would just like to bring the room's attention to 2 outstanding Aggies who have worked hard for bringing America back to its roots, back to its origin. I want to thank Senator Ryan Davenport, and I want to thank Senator Bryce Pender for their diligence and for their work to the Brazos County community. So thanks, and you
With that, MSC President Colin Layden. You have 5 minutes starting at Howdy.
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 A couple things to announce first. There's a program that we're having called Islamic Contributions to Civilization. That's being sponsored by the L.T. Jordan for International Awareness. It will be happening next Wednesday, November 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. in Coldus 111. I know you've seen many mixed messages on the contributions of the Islamic culture, Texas A&M, and the United States, so I encourage you to go to that. This Friday we'll have the Blockbuster Inception at 6:30 and 9:30 at Rudder Tower. Your tickets are free if you have a student ID. Next Tuesday there's a program, Beauty, Brains, and Britney, Popular Cultural Influence on Women and Collective Society, Rudder 504. For those of you who are freshmen, there's a group that's doing a Freshman Appreciation Day in front of the Savisa and outside of Commons, giving away free donuts and Scantrons in the morning, customized sunglasses in the middle of the afternoon, and then water bottles and sweatbands in the late afternoon. Also, if you've lost anything over the semester or want to find something that's been lost by someone else, the Lost and Found auction is next Wednesday in the Rudder Exhibit Hall from 10 a.m. to 2. You can get a lot of free stuff then. And then next week, we're starting a program called Whoop for Troops. It's a program that provides a lot of different items to send to troops overseas. And there's a long list of things that they're collecting, so I encourage you to go to the MSC website to see how you can contribute. But that's not exactly why I'm here today. I'm here today to kind of give a message on behalf of the Memorial Student Center. And it's in regards to Senate Bill 6311. And reading over this, there are many things that come to mind and items I'd like to address, provide feedback on, and discuss. However, my time is limited, so I first want to speak as my role as MSC President and your impact on the organization I have the privilege to represent. In the mission of our MSC, we aim to achieve several goals, and I'd like to mention two of those today. We model an inclusive and welcoming environment that encourages the holistic development of students. This means that we look at issues that face our student population, our society, and providing educational and respectful ways to educate and formulate opinions in a non-critical way, allowing individuals to learn and grow. Next, we prepare students for the future by providing experiential learning opportunities and leadership development. We encourage students to challenge more than what they read in textbooks or experience in a classroom. This means traveling across borders and to form strong relationships and partnerships, working through various cultures that we have here on Texas A&M with our global presence of almost 100 countries right here on campus. And we travel across borders, taking students all across the globe. Altogether, they represent the name of Texas A&M and the reputation that it holds. So how does this translate with the committees and students that we have and the programs that impact almost 50,000 students that walk on campus? They look at local, state, national, and international issues and events and find ways to promote those programs through lectures, music, film, arts, on-campus conferences, traveling conferences, service opportunities, and international opportunities. One of those committees is MSC KMAC, the Committee for the Awareness of Mexican American Culture. They provide programs and opportunities that educate and show an appreciation for the impacts of the Mexican American and Hispanic culture on American society. They represent a significant makeup of Texas A&M students and provide an opportunity for those who may be aware of those cultures and traditions and those that they may not to introduce an appreciation for that. I ask that you not hinder their ability nor try to fragment a strong bond or relationship and Aggie network that they have established here at Texas A&M. We also have several freshman leadership organizations within the MSC. Two of those I want to highlight are MSC FISH, Freshman in Service and Hosting, and MSC FLY, Freshman Leaders International. Both of these groups have developed international spring break opportunities to the countries of Costa Rica and Mexico. These opportunities shape and mold the freshmen during their first years here at Texas A&M. They provide a glimpse of another culture, link them with professors, researchers, working professionals, and international leaders from across the globe, preparing them and encouraging them to engage in global dialogues during their time here at Texas A&M. As they continue to work with these countries and cultures, do not hinder their ability to explore more and become aware of the current issues that face those countries and our country due to the message you send with this bill. The L.T. Jordan Institute for International Awareness sends around 60-plus students across the globe representing Texas A&M to provide service, internship, and research opportunities through many regions of the world. As students are given a cost-affordable opportunity to go abroad, don't make it difficult for them to explain how Texas A&M welcomes international partnerships and exploration because of the lack of sophistication and knowledge that was made with this bill and that is here to represent this opinion of Texas A&M students. So at an institution of higher education, you represent education, a key component to fixing, changing, and improving its education. If this is an issue that you must feel should be addressed, utilize your education here and to go into your career. Please do not use Texas A&M as a lobbying agency. Do not use student government or student activities for the students of Texas A&M The message you send when you propose this bill and potentially vote on it impacts the many students that interact with the MSC, my committees, and the Memorial Student Center. The MSC was created to broaden the horizons of students. Don't cut those off now. I ask you to be cautious of your actions and your words because you as an individual student represent much more than you think. The issue is much larger than a group of student senators within the organization of student government. There are lives and futures that are at stake. There are facts and figures to be considered, and I believe that they have not been factored in. There are roles and responsibilities that we as students have and do not have, that Texas A&M as an institution has and does not have, and that the federal government has and does not have. Now, while there's much more that I'd like to say, I ask you just to please be considerate in your words and actions tonight and the lives that you're impacting tonight. Thanks and good.
State your point.
Which MSC organizations actually voted to be against SB 6311 as MSC president is representing?
I'll refer that to Mrs. President.
Which committees are you saying
Which of
voted
the
against
MSC
it?
organizations actually did you contact or did you have a vote? I mean, you're representing all of MSC. I'm curious as which ones actually voted against 6311.
Well, none of these committees are actually student organizations. We are one organization as a whole. I work with the student leaders of these organizations. We have representatives from MSC KMAC here tonight. I've contacted many of our leadership positions within the Memorial Student Center, and as a representative of the Memorial Student Center, I'm able to get that opinion as of right now from talking to those people.
With that, thank you. in Howdy.
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 I am the promotions director for K2J out of Houston for down here, and Toby Mack and Skillet are coming to College Station on November 18th, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow. I have an opportunity if you want to win 4 free tickets. Just come get one of these cards, and they'll tell you how you can win 4 free tickets. Tickets are on sale, ticketservant.com. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.
With that, Austin Joyer. Austin, you have 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
Howdy. Howdy. My name is Austin Joyce. I'm a freshman ag business major from Pearland, Texas. And today I'm here to talk in support of SB 6311. I've heard many points brought up, but the first point that I'd like to address is that illegal immigrants do pay taxes. That's true. In a report from the Comptroller of Texas, illegals paid $517 million in taxes, but the cost of educating them, as well as health care and incarceration, was $5.7 billion. So if you look, there's a huge discrepancy there in that number. Therefore, legal citizens in the United States are the ones stuck fitting that bill. Secondly, they broke the law. Simply, if you get a speeding ticket, are you not fined? You're not rewarded with the same privileges as those who abide by the law. This seems like to me that we're rewarding and condoning actions that go against our laws. If there's no justification and backbone behind laws, what is the purpose of having them? Lastly, one incentive is there to come here legally, like my ancestors did. One incentive is there for that, if we're to condone these privileges and give them to people who are not citizens of this nation. And lastly, this takes away from out-of-state residents, as well as other qualified students who are legal citizens here in this country by giving these places to illegal immigrants. So I'm asking you as senators and as Americans who have good understanding of laws and the values and traditions that our nation was built on. We are a nation of immigrants. We're a nation of legal immigrants, and let's keep it that way. Thanks again.
With that, Michael Thomas, you have 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
Howdy, everybody.
Howdy.
My name is Michael Mez. I'm a junior economics major, and I'm actually here to discuss something that's on the agenda. It has to do with the codes and process that goes on with Code Maroon. Last week I was in the middle of it. I was 30 minutes going into a test, and my professor was nowhere to be found. He had a TA administering the test, and the TA didn't really speak English, so he had no idea what Code Maroon is, and if anything, what was happening on campus at that moment. So basically, we were stuck in a classroom with our heads all flustered, and we were still having to take the test. We were stuck in an environment for about an hour, unaware of what was happening outside of the classroom. And I know this issue was addressed, and it was just a false alarm, but I would like to be more prepared for next time in case this alert goes out. And that's it, so thank you.
With that, Robert Overstreet, you have 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
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 All right, I'm here to talk about Senate Bill 6311, as I'm sure most of you are just looking around the room. I am, in fact, in support of anything the Student Senate would like to pass that encourages maximum value from our educations. This is a university that is located in the state of Texas, am I correct? All right, looks like most of you agree with that. Therefore, a long time ago when it was set up, Texans decided that there was a benefit outside of what students could afford to them getting an education, correct? Therefore, they decided to foot part of the bill. However, they foot the bill for Texans. They foot the bill for people who have lived here and who have earned the right to attend this school. Now, from a competitive process, if you want to come from any nation in the world and get your degree here, that's fine. Do not expect the rebate or the discount of living here your entire life. Therefore, once again, I think it's actually all been said by a couple of other people, I am absolutely in support of Senate Bill 6311, giving support to Texans
having in-state tuition and illegals not. It is not discrimination. It's simply the return, the best return on the investment for Texans. Fair enough? Sorry, I'm getting nervous, Joe.
With that, Daniel Solis Ayala, you have 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
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 My name is Daniel Solis Ayala, class of 2009 of the Academy of Future International Leaders, and also a student from the College of Architecture that considers that this Bill 6311 does not represent the opinions of all the students at Texas A&M. This represent us and hear our voices. The reason why I do not consider that they're representing all of us is because in my 3.5 years that I've been in this university, I've never been informed about any issues about this university through my college senators. At the same time, after talking to Senator Stephen Crumpley and him agreeing with me that the senators need to do a better job informing the student body population about what is going on, especially about something delicate as this. And I ask anyone in this room to prove me that the majority of the student population is aware of this bill and supports it. At the same time, many of us are here tonight to show you that student organizations and individuals, students like me, oppose this bill because of many different reasons. Therefore, I will expect that before putting this bill on the Senate floor, the student population should be educated about the issue, informed to the point that most of them are aware of this, but most importantly, that they actually understand the issue and the background behind it. Finally, I consider this bill very controversial because it could have a very impact on the recruitment of future students, especially from the Hispanic population and other minority groups. And as we know, A&M has been fighting to be recognized as an open-minded university that welcomes students from different ethnic backgrounds. And by the implementation of this bill, this could be seen as erroneous that minorities are not welcome here regardless of immigration status. Thanks again.
With that, Sergio Ramirez, you have 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
Howdy, fellow Aggies.
Howdy.
I'd like to begin with what the Texas A&M Constitution is for the Student Senate, which says, we, the students of Texas A&M University, in order to provide an officially recognized student organization that identifies and represents students' interests, promotes students' participation in the overall policy and decision-making process of the university, enhances the quality and scope of education at the university, and promotes the general welfare of the student body, do hereby adopt and establish this Constitution. If you notice here, this is, representing the student interests and the welfare of the students. This bill seems to me like it's just trying to somehow get rid of those few students, which are about 300 to 400 students in A&M that are underrepresented, and a lot of the senators are not taking their efforts to get the other point across, like their point of view. I would also like to point out that everyone is entitled to the same opportunities and representations. Undocumented or not, there are still Aggies. If these undocumented students were made to pay out-of-state tuition, how is this going to benefit the other students who are from other states and have to pay out-of-state tuition? Are they going to lower the rate for them, for all of the students, because of 300 illegal students that are attending A&M? Also, my question is this in the best interest of the students? And how will this help to pay the cost of students that are still considered out of state? Thanks.
State your point.
Do we have official numbers stating the number of undocumented immigrants at Texas A&M?
I don't have those, but Senator Blaine.
The latest number is, this is from the Dallas Morning News, is 304, and that's from a couple of years ago.
Thank you.
I would also refer to the brief on SB 6311 that was sent out over the Senate listserv. It has those numbers. With that, Ivan Alaniz. Your 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
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 My name is Ivan Alanis. I'm a mechanical engineering major, senior from McAllen, Texas. I've been aware of this bill trying to get passed, and I recently took a look at it. You know, what is this bill made of? And it lists 6 reasons for passing of this bill, and none of these reasons really convince me that undocumented Aggies really harm Texas A&M in any single way. If anything, it'd be money. But if you knew that the laws say that you need to be here in Texas at a high school for 3 years in order to have academic residency in the state of Texas, and you knew that they've paid their taxes. If you feel bad because other friends pay out of state tuition, then that's the real problem. This undocumented, Aggies is not the problem. If you want to, let's say, get rid of the undocumented Aggies here in Texas A&M, the difference in tuition is about $16,000, and for an undocumented family, that could possibly just not let them attend Texas A&M, which they are qualified to do so. Like they said, it's 304 students. Is not very much. You're basically making more of a negative impact on the reputation of Texas A&M than you are gaining any economical value, as I know some people were saying. As I was saying, none of these reasons for these bills, all these are just facts. None of them really say what negative impact it has. Texas, the difference in out-of-state tuition and the amount that Texas pays as taxes is $8,000. So, I mean, if that's the problem you have, then address that problem, not undocumented Aggies. Thanks.
William Cobb. Your 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
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 Esteemed Senators, I speak to you today against Senate Bill 6311. My reasoning behind my stance is that the constituents affected by this bill, 1, make up less than 1% of the A&M student body, 2, do pay taxes that subsidize the operating budget of A&M, and 3, are not eligible for residence that a citizen themselves could not attain. And 4, this bill is not representative of the view of the student body. According to the Office of International Student Services here on A&M, SB 1528 students, who furthermore fall under the category of SB 6311 status, is less than 200. This makes up less than 1% of the A&M student body, and I see no point in passing a bill that affects some 150 people when we could spend some more time on more relevant bills. Furthermore, the state of Texas currently supports in-state tuition for SB 1528 students. This bill was signed into effect by ex-Aggie Governor Rick Perry. Therefore, whether or not one is undocumented or not, he or she is eligible for in-state tuition. The persons affected by Senate Bill 6311 are not receiving any special treatment not already afforded to citizens. And as everyone should know, everyone in the state of Texas pays taxes when they buy groceries or anything else for that matter, and they also pay property tax. These go to subsidizing the public education system, and therefore these students should be able to take advantage of that just like everyone else not in their situation. Furthermore, according to the state comptroller in 2006, the comptroller's office estimates that the absence of the estimated 1.4 million undocumented immigrants in Texas fiscal 2005 would have been a loss to our gross domestic state product of $17.7 billion. Also, the comptroller's office estimates that the state revenues collected from the undocumented immigrants exceed what the state spent on services. Lastly, this bill is not representative to the opinion of the student body in that no official information has ever been gathered in support or against this bill. It is a lie to say that it is the opinion of the student body without first asking us. Even though we were promised a student life survey, none was ever taken. And I am personally not appreciative of the lapse of
20
judgment,
seconds.
and I feel quite angry as one of your constituents that you have failed to live up to your promises. Thanks, and give
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
State your point.
Is or is not an SLS survey currently in the works?
Yes, an SLS survey is currently in the works. The timeline, state your point. Please stand. Please stand. The results of the survey, by the last timeline I received, I'll refer this to Chair McDuffie if it's incorrect. The survey will be released in about a week and a half. And here on, state your point
When are we voting on this bill?
tonight.
Thank you.
State your point.
When will the results be gathered?
The results will be gathered end of November, Chair McDuffie.
And
The chair would also advise that an SLS survey was starting to be compiled at the end of September, but due to different, I guess, bureaucratic circumstances, it's taken over a month to really get.
Point of information, when was this bill first on the docket?
It was first on the docket, end of April. It was brought up for a vote at our May 4th meetings. And the chair would advise that no other points of information be called out if they're debatable. With that, Dan Gutierrez. You have 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
Howdy guys. Howdy. My name is Daniel Gutierrez. I'm here to represent SGA Diversity. And I'm here to talk about SB 6311. America is a land of human rights, freedom, liberty, and most of all, the opportunity for success and happiness. This is what attracted countless people to the United States. I may be generalizing here, but for most of us, this idea that the United States, that America for opportunity, is the reason that our ancestors, our grandparents, and my parents came to this country. Undocumented students at this university and their families are seeking the same education, seeking the same jobs, and seeking the same hope, and seeking the same American dream that each and every one of us in this room is seeking. Undocumented immigrants are getting or receiving nothing with the current state law. They do not receive driver's licenses, they do not receive social security numbers. Undocumented immigrants, if this state law is upheld, will be able to pay in-state tuition, as opposed to not attend this or any university in Texas at all. Not only do you have to count into this matter that we'll have less students at this university, but we'll have less tuition being paid to this university, which means less money for programs that we all love, including SGA. And this means more fee increases, and this means more budget cuts. And we all know what that's looking like very recently. There have been many, many points brought up today about how property taxes, sales taxes apply to every single person that has lived for any time or bought anything here in Texas. And many times it's been brought up also the amount of revenue that's generated, and I guess we can come to the point that the revenue generated versus the spending of Texas comes into the favor of allowing the students to come to this university, regardless of their status. And as far as tracking talent, a bigger pool to draw talent from would be allowed if this if this state law is upheld. Demographically, one point that was brought up about crime, there have been many studies that suggest that undocumented immigrants actually commit less crime than citizens do. Lastly, this bill needs to be returned to the students with their student opinion applied, because we are, after all, if nothing else, a student government. And I'd like to
30 seconds.
Finish with this. Education is an opportunity, not a reward. However, denying education is denying the opportunity for success, for betterment. For most undocumented students, increasing the tuition to those Exorbitant levels would mean that no school, no opportunity, and no success would be there. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others for their sake and for our own. Thanks and giggle.
Madam Speaker?
State your point.
I'm sorry, but this is a very important point of information. Can you please explain to everyone here in the room why there's been a discrepancy with the timeline of the SLS survey and then this bill coming before this body? What happened between now and then to get that?
Do you want more clarification on the SLS surveys and that timeline and process? The reason it's becoming before us right now is for the legislative agenda. Chair Caperton can explain more.
The SLS survey has been in the works since we first came back this semester. It's been something we've been working on really quickly with the student life studies. We've been working really quickly because of the timeline for us to prepare our legislative agenda for the upcoming session. This bill has to be passed at one of the next 2 meetings. We've been working to try to get the SLS survey. Student life studies has been very slow to respond to us. Greg's been working with them every week. So there comes a point when we have to work as a trustee role. We've been elected, so we have to make our best judgment. Sometimes we can't get SLS surveys on every item. So we waited, we tried, and we're still going to use those when they come back and try to respond to it from there. But we're working as quick as we can.
Thank you.
With that, Megan McLaughlin. You 2.5 minutes starting at Hattie.
Howdy, I'm Megan. I'm Megan, and I'm, whatever the official word is, I'm here for general studies, and I just want to bring to your attention something that's really frustrated me and really upset me on my campus, given that as Aggies, we are all one and united, and that no matter brother or sister of any race or anything like that, though we are Aggies in general, we should have the love and understanding for each one of us. And the fact that I received one of these on my campus, I don't know if any of you have seen these, but it really upset me. I'm obviously, I don't practice the Islam religion. I realize that I'm actually a geography minor, and Islam is a very vast religion, and that the fundamentals of Islam may or may not practice things that I do not agree with, and if there's a murder, that they are usually arrested for that, and it is a problem. But as for all to come back to the campus and generalize an entire group of religion on this campus, first of all, that murder was in Irving, Texas, nowhere near College Station, and the TAC, Texas Aggie Conservatives, one, the fact that A stands for Aggies also upsets me because that puts a bad name on us. And the fact that we are apparently generalizing the entire religion of Islam for one thing that a man did. Christians, there's been so many murders in the name of Christianity, and I'm a Christian, and I hope that someone doesn't come to this campus and try to generalize me for some guy murdering a man who supports abortions. This is something that, and then actually our president actually addressed it in our email, and nowhere did he say that it was the Texas Aggie Conservatives, but they responded to this email on a reform that I also saw online, and were very offended by it for some reason, where in fact he nowhere said Texas Aggie Conservatives. So obviously if you don't think what you're doing is what the president himself said, I don't understand why that email offended you as much as it did. That's pretty much all of it. I just ask that we can understand that the Islamic members of our Aggie family are just as important as the rest of you Christians, non-Christians, atheists, gays, guys, whatever it is. And I don't plan on generalizing you because of what someone else who also practices your religion did in another state, country. You're Aggies, you go to the same games as me, you wear the same colors as me, you pay the same tuition and fees, and I hope that we don't just create discrimination on our entire campus based on a flyer that someone chose to hand out generalizing the entire religion. So that's all mine.
Senator Womack.
Howdy. Howdy. We got a lot going on. So, real quickly, just a couple housekeeping things.
I'm not going to voice my opinion on anything because it's not the appropriate forum for this. I just want to say a couple of things for the overall operations of the meeting.
meeting. I know that there's going to be a motion, I think Senator Podium is going to make, to bring 6311 to the top of the docket, and where I think that's appropriate, so we don't get to what a lot of people here have talked about. So I just want to say that might be a good way to continue. And then also moving on, there are a lot of other issues that we haven't talked about in open forum that are very contentious issues, and that are going to come to a head tonight. And I just want to encourage everyone to be very responsible. We have a legitimate debate going on with this issue, and I think that needs to be addressed in a very professional manner. And the subsequent things that follow, if they follow after that, also need to be dealt with in a very, very professional manner. We have a lot of contentious issues to deal with tonight, and I think those need to be dealt with responsibly, and those need to be dealt with cool heads. This can very easily turn into a shouting match, and that's wrong. Just really quick, I was watching the election coverage last night, and I saw, it was Chet Edwards versus Bill Flores, and I thought to myself, oh well, no matter what happens, there will be an Aggie that wins. And then I saw, Rick Perry win, and I said, another Aggie won. And then I thought to myself, what if the entire government was filled with nothing but Aggies? How amazing that would be. And then I thought to myself, there is such a government. It's not in the state legislature, it's not in the national government, but it is in Texas A&M. This, if anything, is a body composed entirely of Aggies, and we should comport ourselves in that fashion. With every step of the way, all 6 core values, that's the way we need to conduct our business, every step of the way. So whenever you think about something, whenever something comes out of your mouth, don't think about the person next to you, don't think about the people behind you, don't think about anything other than 6 core values and what it means to be an Aggie, because that's what's important here. Not student senator, not whatever the heck you're thinking about. What's important is that we are the Aggies are we. So please, whenever we move forward, be professional and think about the Aggie spirit, and would you want the entire university to see the things that you're saying and all that different stuff. So let's be professional and let's move on with this.
With that, Lauren Villanueva, you have 2.5 minutes starting at howdy.
Howdy. Howdy. My name is Juan Villanueva. I'm a general studies major and I'm a sophomore. I just want to let you know that on behalf of the SB 6311 bill, how is this showing our Aggie values? How is this showing our motive to move forward to Vision 2020? How are we moving forward with this bill? How is this showing our family unity, our love, how are we showing this to the next upcoming Aggies and the ones who are here already? We are the Aggies are we. Right now, it sounds like we are the Aggies, you are the top of the Aggies, but not really. Just think about that and think about what this bill is, the message is sending out. Just think about the message this bill is sending out to the other Aggies out there, and to the other universities or whatever, but most especially to the other Aggies that are out there who might be offended or might be hurt by this, and might change their opinions about the greatest university in the nation, right? And so I believe you should look into how this is going to affect the emotions and the issues that are going to be brought up upcoming. So please look into it and think about who are the people that you're hurting and what message you're sending out there. Thank you.
With that, Diego Madrona, you have 2.5 minutes starting at howdy.
Howdy!
Howdy!
My name is Diego Madrona. I'm a student from Texas A&M University. I have 2 things in here. It's how I put all the papers, but there's one thing that it's the SB 6311. It says that, and I'm going to go straight to the point. The Texas A&M University Student Government Association, on behalf of the students of the Texas A&M University, opposes any current, proposed, or future local, state, or federal legislation or law that will give any institution to persons residing in the United States. So what is it telling me is that you are going to oppose the law. Is that what you're telling me? The SB 6311. I assume that is the biggest contradiction in this law, because supposedly you're talking about what is legal and illegal. Technically with this, you're opposing the law, and that's illegal. So if you support this bill, please change that. This is not the way to handle this situation. Like they said before, this is a federal government issue. It's not something that you as students that should be worried about the tuition fees that come from having plasma TVs on the rec, or rebuilding, or anything else in general in Texas A&M University. That's what you should be focused on. If the student off campus, like for me, I would like to have my senators worrying about the student routes instead of, the buses routes, instead of worrying about this issue that they're not going to solve, or that it's not going to bring anything good for Texas A&M University in general. Much less, this is straightforward discriminatory. Why? Because this is against a minority that makes up less than 1% of the student body in the Texas A&M University. It's just, I don't see the point for you to go to this issue, because you are not, number one, knowledgeable about this issue, or number two, prepared to handle this situation. As you can see, there's a lot of people in this room that has a strong views about that. And if you do have those strong views, the way to handle this is to call your senators, your representatives, because you choose those people to be there in the Senate, in the Congress. They are the ones that make this law. If you have a problem with that, go ahead, do your citizen behaviors and call your representatives. That's the way to do it, not here in Texas A&M University. Thank you.
With that, Jesus Maris. 2.5 minutes starting now, Howdy.
Howdy, my name is Jesus Mares. I was born in Mexico, and when I was 3, I came in the United States. I came legally, of course. Then I decided to attend Texas A&M. Around that time, I was granted citizenship, and when that happened, I was given this book. It's called A Welcome to U.S. Citizenship, and on page 8, it describes a good citizen. It reads, "The good citizen recognizes the social problems of the time and has the will and the ability to work towards their solution. The good citizen recognizes and endeavors to help in the solution of social problems of race, religion, economics, and politics, problems of the role of the government in relation to the people, problems of the United States in place of world affairs, problems of equitable uses of resources, problems of the family, school, community, and neighborhood living. I feel that it is my duty and responsibility as a citizen to urge the Senate to vote against SB 6311. Thank you."
Paula Aranola. You 2.5 minutes starting now, Howdy.
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 I'm a senior biology major. I came here thinking that I was going to know exactly what to say, and then it changed as soon as I started hearing everything people have to say. Basically, we're Aggies. Aggies support Aggies, if I'm not mistaken. This is why I chose to come here, the support that you get from everybody. I really don't think that by taking away the opportunity of 100 students to actually keep their college education is not going to benefit us in any way. It's not going to hurt us in any way. I am really upset about this issue because we weren't even really informed about it. I didn't get any emails about this issue. I didn't get any form of contact from any senator or I had to find out through friends who actually took the time to stay on top of things, of the current issues in A&M, and actually through there, you can see all these people. We email, we stay in contact with each other. This is what it is, like people getting together and fighting for a cause. This is not gonna hurt A&M or at all. I'm so nervous. But this is how bad I really want this to pass. This is how involved I am. This is my first time talking in front of an audience. I'm so nervous and anxious. I get the emotion and the power. actually come in front of you guys and say if you say this is not my opinion, this is not the Aggie Valley tradition at all. So, no to SB 6311.
With that, Melissa Zelaya. You have 2.5 minutes during a howdy.
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 My name is Melissa Zelaya, and I'm the chair of MSC KMAC. And I'm here today to voice my concern in opposition of the Student Senate Bill 6311. I object to this bill because it unfairly singles out hardworking Texas students, and also because it is based on several false premises. The SB 6311 states that an alien should not be eligible for federal aid unless a citizen is receiving it as well. However, undocumented students do not receive any federal aid. Therefore, the U.S. Code 1623-8 is not applicable. These students are paying for school and are doing it without federal loans. Many of them are working with their families at a young age, saving their money, trying to pay for school, and they're paying for it out of pocket. So they are really using y'all's money. Others working so hard in high school to get scholarships, and these are state funded and or based on merit. So it's really their hard work and dedication that brings them to campus. It's, again, not Texas or anything like that. This bill unfairly singles out and discriminates against a small yet hardworking portion of our student body. These people did not choose to be in this situation. Most have been in the U.S. and in Texas since they were very young anyway. So we are Texas residents by heart. A lot of us consider ourselves Texans, and to discriminate against them is just not right. It's not the Aggie way. These students have worked hard to be able to attend school, and they do not deserve to have this opportunity taken away from them by anyone. Who are we to judge? So it is important that when these decisions are being made, that we take in the facts as well as the negative impact that these decisions could have on students, especially Aggies. Regardless of an individual's citizenship status, these students are paying for tuition, being active throughout campus, and studying hard, just like every other member of the Aggie family. Also, I'd like to point out that I don't think Facebook is relevant to this, whole area thing, so I'm a little concerned about that. But I kind of lost track there. But yes, thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Graham. You have 2.5 minutes starting at howdy.
Howdy. Howdy. All right, so I'm not going to get into like a lot of the stuff that was already said because, well, obviously, pretty much been saying the same stuff. I just kind of want to address kind of the rhetoric that's been used, like discrimination and stuff like that. This bill is not about discrimination. All right, it's simply about whether someone has legal status or not, and if they should be paying in-state tuition or if they shouldn't. That's what this bill is. It's not against Hispanics. It's not telling people they can't, you can't come here and you can't have an education. All right, it's doing nothing. All right, it's literally, it does nothing. It just says that we don't agree with the current law. It's not saying that, oh, you should change it right away because, you know what? Let's face it. This is a student senate. I'm pretty sure the people in Capitol Hill don't really care. I mean, I'm sorry, like, they don't. So, if this bill passes or if it doesn't, it really has no binding effect. So, I mean, I just ask everyone kind of tone down the rhetoric a little bit, just what's important, like, this isn't discriminating against anyone, this isn't having binding power, that's just kind of my views on it. I have my personal views about illegal aliens paying in-state tuition, but I'll leave those to my personal views. I ask y'all as senators to represent your college and who you're here to represent, all right? Don't, obviously everyone in this room has a biased opinion right now. I hope that y'all would have gone out and asked people instead of relying on some poll that you sent out. I would have done that. I kind of asked people today in my classes what they thought about it, and I got very mixed responses. So I hope that y'all would have done that. I hope that you vote based off of your representation and not the people in here. That's all I got.
With that, Mariana Ariano, sorry. You have 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
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 And I was gonna end with these, but I think I should begin with these after what he said. This is not just about paying less or more tuition. You people are deciding on students' lives because so many of the students that come here, they work so hard to get money to come here, and what you're doing is tripling that money to make it impossible for many students to come to college. And the truth is that any country without education forward. So let's just think about that. And I want to say also that the reason why I came to this school is because I was searching the Aggie family. And with this video, the school is giving me an image of intolerance towards diversity. And it's diminishing the measures that many of the school faculty and school students are trying to do to promote this diversity. And if what you're trying to do is target illegal immigration, this is not the way. Because the way illegal immigration works is because they have a dependency on social welfare and all those programs, and the only way out of that is through education. You guys are trying to deprive students from their education that they work so hard to get. They work so hard to get into this institution, into this wonderful Aggie family, and they deserve to stay here. And just to end with this, I just can't believe that the school I came to because of the love and support they offer me is even thinking about passing this bill. Because we're all Aggies, and if this bill passes, you're tearing out our family.
Justin Bland, you have 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
Howdy, Ags.
Howdy.
Welcome all of you tonight. I'm glad you all fit in the bill. I'd like to say that I tried to pass a bill about a month ago saying that we'd get bigger meeting rooms and stuff in these areas.
The chair would advise that multiple requests for reservations were made, but seeing as this bill was not passed out of committee until Sunday, all those rooms were reserved.
Madam Speaker, I certainly appreciate that effort. I as well was not aware that this bill was passed out of committee until about the time it showed up. Anyway, I just wanted to go over a few things, some misconceptions I think that are happening right now. I think the open forum was used to really discuss political issues that this bill is not commenting on. This bill is rather simple. It's just about one thing, about who should get in-state tuition. And if people not in this country illegally should get automatic in-state tuition. Automatic meaning if you get a $1,000 academic scholarship, you can still get in-state tuition. So anyone who's here because they're smart, they're sharp, they're hard workers, can still pay the reduced rate of in-state tuition. I'd also like to ask my senators, my colleagues, to consider what their constituents out in the classrooms around campus say. I know I'm an animal science major. I've talked to all my classes, or I've talked to students in all my classes about this, and they're very overwhelmingly in support of this issue. I was just at a dinner, and I brought up politics at the dinner table. I know you're not supposed to do that, but everyone said, "Wow, this is great. I wish I could come tonight." Too short notice. So consider that. Also, we vote on bills all the time without polls, and I tried last spring to get a survey done, but I was told it wasn't my place. I'm not an officer. I tried because I thought it would be important. I know other officers have tried to get this done. We've tried to do this right, but I guess because of the urgency for their legislative agenda, they wanted to bring this up now. So don't think that we tried to rush this on anyone. It really wasn't up to doing this today, because I thought that we needed to have more planned time. It snuck up on me too, but I'm glad all of y'all came tonight. I really wish the discussion would have been on the issue at hand. And just remember, Senators, what the issue is on hand, and not everything that was said tonight was what this bill is saying. And all this bill is saying is that, if passed, we oppose automatic in-state tuition to go to people in the country illegally. Thank you all. Enjoy your evening.
With that, Ricardo Espinosa. You have 2.5 minutes starting at Howdy.
Howdy, everyone.
Howdy.
So I want you all to look around. I know everyone's saying, we should talk to our constituents, look around, let's see what they say, let's see what they think. Well, look around right now. Right here, everyone that you're seeing around you, these are the people who might not personally be affected, but know people that are affected, who actually are getting affected by this. You see, it's funny that you say this. You brought this on the dinner table. You were talking about it, and your friends didn't come. Maybe it's because they weren't personally affected by it. I find it really, another thing I really find funny about this is also the fact that you're giving, in the briefing, it said there was $54 million that were being shortchanged because of undocumented immigrants. Well, I want to say this. Maybe the reason that y'all are complaining is about price. That's a completely different issue that we should be handling right there. If our tuitions are too high, then let's change that. Let's actually try to aim to change that. Everyone says, and everyone looks at themselves and says, well, it's only 1%. It's only about 300 people that are going to be affected. It doesn't matter if it was only 5, 4, or 3 people that are affected. If it affects somebody negatively, if it bars anyone from attending a university, if it bars anyone from actually going ahead and actually being somebody, then it's one person too many. Another thing I want to say in regards to that is also the fact that look around you. Look around you all. What exactly is an undocumented immigrant for you all? A lot of these people that I've spoken with who are undocumented, who can't talk, a lot of these people don't even have an accent. So what are you exactly trying to say? What exactly is a citizen for all you all? I mean, I know the legality, the legal term is, yeah, you have proper documentation. Well, guess what? I voted. I'm glad I'm a citizen, but I won't leave the U.S. for 3 years. But I'm a citizen of the U.S. of A. I got to vote. So you're saying that people that have lived here since they were 3, 2, 1, don't have any pride in this country, in this nation? A lot of individuals here actually went and volunteered for whatever constituent they felt was liable. That's what makes a citizen, not the right to vote or not to vote. What makes a citizen is if you love this country and how much you love it and all the rights that you...
30 seconds.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I made people laugh. And what makes a person a citizen is actually getting involved. And I want you all to know this. This vote right here, if you vote in favor or against, this vote right there is affecting individuals. So it's going to be thanks to you if these individuals can continue going to college or not. And are you really going to be able to tell me that tomorrow you're going to be able to wake up and say, wow, I just took a person's chance of getting an education because of what their ancestors, what their parents did. I blame them for their parents' mistake. And I don't think that's an Aggie action. Thank you.
We'll now move back into organizational form. Speaking for SGA Diversity, Archana Gladi. You have 5 minutes starting at Howdy.
Howdy. Howdy. So I'm representing SGA Diversity as the Diversity Commissioner, and today I had Daniel speaking about the SB. I don't remember the number, but the tuition bill, which we gladly oppose. So I will be speaking on another topic of hatred on this campus, and it's an important issue, and I'm really thankful you brought that up. So I'm not going to talk about what's going on right now. I'm going to talk about my experience about hatred, and it is too extreme. So first, I'll tell you, I grew up in Bombay all my life. At the age of 13, when I was in 7th grade, I was going to school, and I saw four people with swords killing a man right in his knees. I've seen that at age 13, and this was the witness of the riots that started it, the communal riots that started in Bombay. It was the Hindu-Muslim riots. And understand, everyone was going crazy. Like, there were Hindus killing Muslims, there were Islamic people killing Hindus. And it was a communal riot. I don't know who was right and who was wrong at that time. okay? I was only thinking there is something bad going on because I was too young to understand that. So slowly as I grew up, I've seen blood, I've seen people being killed, I've seen people getting crazy over religion. I've seen the saffron color, the crazy saffron color of Hinduism. I've seen the crazy green color of Pakistanis, of Muslims, and I've seen that whole rage. I have witnessed everything of that as a child. I've seen destructed temples, I've seen burned masjids, and I can tell you that the phase of hatred is really bad. And if it seeps in the society, it is going to destroy all of you. So do not start it. Do not encourage it. No one is right or wrong. Do not encourage it. Okay? Believe in your beliefs and stick to your beliefs. Do not try to oppose someone for building yourself. If you want to preach me something good about yourself. Do not tell me someone else is wrong and that's why I should hear you. That's the difference. That's the difference of hatred and preaching about something. I'm here to learn agriculture. I'm here to learn about agri traditions. But I'm not here to listen to how Islamic is not a peaceful religion. I don't buy that because I've seen that and I know Islamic is a peaceful religion. It was only because of the political unrest and it was only because of the political leaders that the whole of Bombay was destroyed. And all of that slowly calmed down. The youth took over that. All of it calmed down. And now you will not see that. I mean, there is some kind of after effect of that's going to remain for years. But you will see the new generation, they're all together. I cannot see an Islamic person and just see him as an Islamic. It has changed so much in India. People in Bombay, people love Islamic people or fall in love with someone. They oppose their families. They get married to Islamic people. If you're a Hindu, I'm a Hindu basically, or the other way around. So it's no more there. But what I'm trying to say is I've seen the extremities. It is really bad. So I really say, I appeal to all of you, even if this issue of hatred is not what you are doing, do not stop there. Speak against it, because you will be affected. And if you are someone who are not affected, maybe you're not Islamic, and you're not affected, do not stop there. Speak against it, because the impact is going to be on you. Thank you.
Means good night, and it does not mean beat wife. Thank you very much.
With that, Jose Luis Celaya, on behalf of the Council of Minority Student Affairs. You have 5 minutes starting in Howdy.
Howdy, I'm Maria Cabello. I'm also in the Council for Minority Student Affairs. We believe that not only does this bill go against everything that we treasure in the Aggie spirit, which makes us known to be the friendliest university in the nation, but it goes against current state legislation on SB 1528, signed into law by fellow Aggie Rick Perry. Texas A&M has been combating a reputation of intolerance for quite some time now, and this bill will only help reaffirm this notion amongst prospective students, the community, the state, and the nation. If passed, this bill will set our university back even further, and it will completely negate that we are the Aggies are we mantra that we strive to uphold as members of the Aggie family. Equal access to education should be an innate right, regardless of race, ethnic background, socioeconomic status, immigration status, or any other salient identifying factor. You would be doing our university a disservice by passing this legislation, and we sincerely hope that you take this into consideration when voting today. The writers of SB 6311 claim that the Texas state law, Senate Bill 1528, does not follow federal law. Requirements under SB 1528 are: students have established residency within the state of Texas for at least 3 years as of the date the person graduated from high school, have graduated from an accredited Texas high school, provide the institution an affidavit stating that the individual will file file an application to become a permanent residency as the earliest opportunity to do so, and 12 months of residency within the state prior to enrolling in an institution of higher education. Residency being the requirement, not citizenship. Therefore, all students can benefit from SB 1528, which follows the U.S. Constitution.
Another concern and intent of Senate Bill 6311 is to bring more money to the university by charging higher tuition rates to undocumented students. We'll be making it fair for U.S. citizens. However, in 2009, for the entire state of Texas, less than 1%, about 1% of the population that went to college was undocumented. And here at Texas A&M, even though we do have about 304, those are Senate Bill students, and not every Senate Bill student is undocumented, because if you are out of state or you were an international student or whatever it is, you might also fall into this category. So there are about 200, and let me make the math. That's about 0.004 of the population at Texas A&M. 0.004 of the percentage of Texas A&M that we are trying to hurt. Because like we have said that this is not going to benefit Aggies, and the Constitution here in the Student Senate is that y'all cannot pass a bill that will hurt a minority on campus, and this is exactly what it's doing. The reality is that the actual percentage of undocumented students is so small compared to the rest of 49,000 students at Texas A&M that it will appear like this measure is nothing. It's going to do nothing to our university. If you multiply 0.004 times whatever it is the amount that you're trying to charge, we're talking about $100,000. Seriously? And we're gonna get $100,000, but yet we're gonna go on national television, we're gonna go on state television, we're gonna go on local television, looking like we are these people who are so radical and that we are so against Aggies. There's a sign going over there that says Aggie love Aggies. There's another sign over there saying that Aggies don't fight Aggies. There are so many signs over there. And you know what? You probably got so many emails. Are they here? They're not here. I could have told my friend from Houston to write you an email. But are they here? These are the student body right here that you represent. These are the students that really care about this issue, not just an email. I can stand on a computer and just write an email and just make a difference there, but this is what is making a difference. It's standing outside at 6 p.m. in the cold, even if it's raining, even whatever it is, doing yells like beat the head out of SB 6311, doing yells that really matter. That's what it matters, Aggies. We are the Aggies and the Aggies are we. Whenever we go over there to the football stadium, are you gonna tell me not to do the working with you because somebody might be undocumented? Are you gonna tell him that he can do farmer's fight because he's undocumented? What are we doing? You know what? In the battalion there was something that said that 8 states don't allow undocumented students to go to college. What is gonna be the next bill? What is gonna come out of the Senate next? So right now you're saying that undocumented students should not pay in-state tuition. What's gonna be next? That undocumented students should not go to college? Let's think about this. We are Aggies, the Aggies are, this is not the federal government, this is not the state government, this is the student government, and here we are here for Aggies. Aggies love Aggies, go fight other Aggies. Thanks, and thank you.
Yes, I just wanted, for clarification, you mentioned that when someone gets in-state tuition, if they are an illegal immigrant, they have to sign an affidavit saying that they will seek citizenship at the earliest opportunity. How does an illegal immigrant gain citizenship? What is the process for that?
Under the current immigration law, there is nothing that you can do for that. That's why I have a little button right here that says I support the DREAM Act. Under the current immigration status, think of it as a line. You have 0 right here. You have 1, 2, 3. It is somewhat doable to go from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, but it's impossible to go from 0 to 1. And this is what undocumented students are. They're sitting at 0. And this is the root of the problem. The root of the problem is not increasing in-state tuition, but it's legalizing the students. Because I have a friend who has been in the United States 6 hours after she was born. 6 hours after she was born, and she's not a U.S. citizen. And she's at 0. There's nothing we can do. So please call your Senator Reed and tell him to introduce the DREAM Act as soon as possible to the state Senate, so that we can get the DREAM Act going. That's the only way that we can give a legalization for these amazing students. There are 65,000 students who graduate high school and can't do anything. So please urge and encourage senators for the support of the dream act, because that's a good point that you just brought up.
Thank you.
With that, Israel Escamilla to speak on behalf of the Destino. You have 5 minutes starting in
Howdy.
Howdy.
First of all, I'd like to thank you guys, our senators that have been here paying attention this whole time, listening to the voice of A&M. Those of you that have been surfing the internet, looking up whatever it is, doing emails, chatting, whatever, I would just ask if there would be some kind of regulation. This is obviously important enough for everyone who showed up tonight to be heard, to be listening. I think it's important that, that your attention and focus be on the people coming up for the rest of the meeting, and just for the rest of your time here as senators at Texas A&M. So I'm here to speak about the SB 6311. My name is Israel Escamilla, and I'm the president of Destino here at Texas A&M. Destino is the largest minority organization on campus and the largest Hispanic religious organization in the nation. I'm here to say that our organization and I oppose the Senate Bill 6311 because it goes against our Aggie values. It violates Vision 2020 by not welcoming these great students to our university. The state of Texas, through our Governor Rick Perry, former student of Texas A&M, gave these students the right to pay in-state tuition. Then Texas A&M should not take this away from them. Each of us who attend Texas A&M came here because we want to be the future leaders from the greatest state this nation has to offer. And being a leader includes protecting and looking out for the interests of our community. It means doing whatever it takes to best fit the needs of our people. This target group that we're speaking about tonight, those are our people, those are our fellow Aggies. These students have met and exceeded every requirement to be an Aggie, to be here. They, like you've had many come up and say, they've worked hard, they've done whatever it takes to get those scholarships to be here, to be able to pay in-state tuition and come here. So are we introducing a bill that would disadvantage them in any way, like we said earlier about giving a disadvantage to the minorities? I can respect the fact that we don't see eye to eye on this issue. What I can't respect is the way that this situation was handled. This just doesn't seem like the way you treat a fellow student who's part of our Aggie family, to be honest. So how about, earlier, excuse me, sir, what's your name?
Yes.
No, with the vote.
Greg McDuffie, Constituency Affairs.
Okay, Greg, Mr. McGuffey, earlier I know you said that, we opened up in a big prayer and all that, about thanking the Lord for being here and all this. And so I just, I asked, so how about we consider spurring one another on towards love and good deeds, and help out our fellow Aggies that are being affected by this. I know the organization I'm with, Destino, we do have a lot of Aggies who are undocumented, and I see them just as much in my family as I see every one of you guys in here, whether it be in the Corps, whether you guys be from College of Education, College of Business, Coles, and so I'm a current senior here at A&M. I see my engineering reps over there. I'm from the College of Engineering. And I've been here a while, and last time I checked, Aggies don't hiss Aggies. We look out for each other.
Celine Gomez to speak on behalf of this Hispanic President's Council. You have 5 minutes starting in
Howdy.
Howdy.
My name is Selena Gomez, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Hispanic President's Council. For those of you who don't know, the Hispanic President's Council is an organization that seeks to provide a mechanism through which all Hispanics can become full and contributing students of the Texas A&M University. It provides a voice for the concerns of the Hispanic population and initiates a proactive stance in addressing the problems facing the Hispanic community. Although we acknowledge and support students of all races and ethnic backgrounds, I'm here speaking on behalf of the community that we serve, specifically the Hispanic Aggies and our supporters. Student Senate Bill 6311 unfairly represents Texas A&M students because we were not formally given the opportunity to provide feedback for consideration in this matter, and the one survey that was given has not been properly analyzed. Furthermore, this bill is poorly worded and consists of misleading information. 6311 bill states erroneous information about taxes that can easily be corrected by speaking to experts at Texas A&M in the departments such as Student Financial Aid, Admissions, and International Student Services. In the bill, the U.S. Code Section 1623 is quoted, which is basically saying undocumented students can be eligible for in-state tuition and residency as long as a citizen is eligible as well, and which citizens are, and so we feel that there's no conflict because everyone has the opportunity to qualify for this. Not only that, but this is targeting a small number of students and just pointing them out instead of helping the student body as a whole, which is what the Student Senate should be focused on. Another concern is the institution's reputation. Texas A&M vision for 2020 is diversity. And with the passage of this bill, we will be regressing as opposed to getting closer to the goal. As Aggies, we should not want to put our school's name at risk of being frowned upon. In closing, the Hispanic President's Council fully supports all Hispanic students on this campus regardless of legal status, and we encourage further careful consideration and legitimate research on this subject. So that's me speaking as the Hispanic President's Council. And personally, I remember there was a comment made, if you get a ticket, you're fined. We are here, well, not personally, but undocumented students are here trying to pay the ticket, but nobody's allowing them to. Instead, they're just being punished, you know, they're going punishment after punishment after punishment. When is it going to stop? Why not pass the DREAM Act and you can actually let them pay that fine, let them pay for the crimes that they didn't even have a say in, but their parents did. Thank you.
With that, Aaron Johnson to speak on behalf of MSA.
Howdy.
Howdy.
When I came to the university 2 years ago, I was very proud, very damn proud. 1 year ago, I was proud. Right now, I feel ashamed that this is even being considered. Why the injustice? The Senate today will try to pass a bill that says that Texas A&M, I quote, opposes measures to give in-state tuition to persons residing in the United States illegally. The anti-immigrant sentiment we have seen spike in the past year is overwhelming, and I am not going to stand behind this discriminatory rhetoric. Why the injustice? Undocumented students are still part of the Texas A&M family, the Aggie family, where culture is not an issue when you reach success, when you're trying to reach success. Why the injustice? Undocumented immigrants who are students and parents still pay sales tax, property taxes, which help cover costs of their in-state tuition. Today, we stand united and ready to protest this anti-American bill that will not only hurt the image of our students, but our university as a whole. Instead, I propose that the Senate will pass a resolution to say that the university supports the DREAM Act. Other universities have done it, and I will be very proud if this. That's right. That is the real solution to the problem, which is not only local, not state, but it's a national problem. The DREAM Act will give the opportunity to these students across the nation to find success and at the same time contribute to the United States. We are here to stand united for justice. And I will be very proud if the Senate voted no today in this bill. My name is Eric Jasso, and I'm from the class of 2012 from San Antonio, Texas. I represent the Mexican Student Association, and I strongly oppose this bill. Thank you.
With that, student advocate for Academic Affairs, Crystal Escher, and Chair, Chris Esparza. Do 5 minutes starting at Howdy.
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 Okay, we met with Provost Watson, and we met with system offices. So we got a little feedback as to the Slate program where we're going to move forward from here. It's not going to be named Slate anymore. They have a new name for it. And as soon as Crystal gets up here, she'll tell you the new name. But what we're working on right now is the new questions for the program. And they'd like to really get some better questions than the 16 they have now. Something that better gauges what you really appreciate in your professors and the time that you spend in the classrooms. Something that we're going to ask for you all to do is if you could please email Crystal, and she'll give you your email address right now, what you value in a good professor. And it's really important that we get this feedback because we're going to be shaping the survey right now and the questions over the next week. Actually, we need to get this done soon so we can get this done this semester. Do you want to go into the details of the meeting?
Yeah, we can go ahead. Next slide, please. Just to give you guys a little bit of background for those of you that don't know, originally the program was called Student-Led Award for Teaching Excellence. And this was an idea that was brought to the students and faculty by Chancellor McKinney in late 2008. On September 8th, Faculty Senate passed a resolution disapproving of this. There's a reason. Numerous studies have shown that teaching evaluations are only one component of determining teaching excellence, as well as all teaching should be valued, not just 1 hour courses that are greater than 3 hours. If you go to the next slide. And the teaching evaluations should include assessment of student learning as well, which Slate technically does not. And they were also concerned that Slate would undermine the other teaching excellence awards that take into account other components besides just student evaluations. Later, Student Senate passed a bill in the 61st session that commended the Chancellor for bringing this idea to students and faculty. However, it listed some concerns, including potential grade inflation and possible bias towards courses in certain disciplines. The Senate bill also acknowledged Faculty Senate's concerns, but asked or gave recommendations to Chancellor McKinney. Chancellor McKinney, go to the next slide. Chancellor McKinney came back and asked Student Government Association to submit a proposal that addressed the concerns that Faculty Senate and Student Senate had. That proposal was then implemented in fall of 2008, I believe, fall of 2008. The process hasn't changed much since then, but it's undergone some minor changes. You can go to the next slide. The process has been renamed this year, just quite recently actually. It's now Student Recognition Award for Teaching Excellence. The faculty is still not happy that Teaching Excellence is in the title because in the academic world there's a standard that self-evaluations, peer evaluations, and student evaluations are 3 components that are necessary to determine teaching excellence. And so there's still faculty support not there, but they're a little bit happier, I think. If you can go to the next slide. So that being said, the process is still kind of the same. Faculty participation is still voluntary. There will be a 16-question survey that students are required to fill out should faculty choose to participate in this program, and that survey will be online. And then once all the data from the surveys have been collected, that data will be processed by A&M offices, and then the top 25% of the faculty members for that semester will be given the award. That being said, go to the next slide, please. We have a couple options possibly. The Provost Office would like to have only 1 or 2 questions. They don't feel that the 16 questions that we have are very accurate. There is another possibility of rewording the questions so that they're less pointed, because currently there are some questions that kind of lead you down a path that might not necessarily determine good teaching. And then finally is taking unnecessary questions out of the surveys. There's a few questions that just really don't help us determine whether a faculty member has done good teaching. So that being said, if you can go to the next slide. As far as rewording the questions, as a possibility, we're changing some of the questions. We're taking
30 seconds.
Unnecessary questions out. We're asking that if you guys, any student, senators, anybody, will help us identify qualities that you feel are necessary for good teaching. If you will email that to me at chrislesher@gmail.com. Chris and I will be working on this over the weekend so that we can formulate some new questions and kind of see if maybe we can get some questions changed, if that's what you guys want to do. But we just want to make sure that we have good options on the table so that this can be the best process possible. Anything else?
Please, guys, we really need your help.
Please finish your
formulating
sentence.
these questions, so give a chance. Email Crystal as soon as possible with your input.
With that, Senator Wilson.
Senator Wilson, College of Science. You said that the data will be collected and evaluated by A&M offices. Is that university or system?
University.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Flynn.
Justin Floyd, College of Science. This is kind of a radical idea, but I was wondering if in these discussions, they're talking about maybe doing more of an application process, like a nomination process, or writing, I guess, a report about the professors and survey across the students, or maybe a way to allow former students to have some feedback.
So there was a talk of a nomination process that actually came from the provost's office. That proposal was called SNAP. The chancellor did not like it, so it's not happening basically. But there were a lot of complications with that because the way we were setting it up was that students, there would be a link on Howdy. Students would click that link and be able to go in and nominate a professor. There was really no guarantee that we would get accurate data from that, and also we were just asking for a nomination and did some additional comments which we can't really quantify. So it was an option that was put on the table. I don't know in future years if that's something that they're going to continue to look into. Right now, we're just trying to make sure it happens this semester and hopefully get it tweaked before stuff goes out.
Yeah, in the end, it's the chancellor's money, so we gotta abide by the guidelines that he gives us, if not, the program's dead. So we're trying as best we can to make sure the students have as much input as possible, but in the end, we gotta remember the money comes from the chancellor.
What else is good that you have?
Any further questions? Senator Womack.
Hi, Mark Womack, off campus. Since excellence gets to stay in the name, how come we have to change it? Because I mean, Slate was a really great anagram.
The provost office is not pushing rate. They'd like to say student rate. And that's coming from their marketing department.
How about Sorate?
I mean, whatever can get more people to sign up for the program. So you do what you gotta do.
Senator Reason.
Howdy, Michael Ariza, Southside. I noticed on there that the new award gives awards to the top 25%, and I was just wondering how many, what percentage of teachers got awards on the old system?
It depended on how many faculty members applied. Normally we've only done this for 2 years, mind you. So in the fall, we had more professors that got the award than in the spring. I don't have the exact numbers.
But by percentage, is it increased or
It was
decreased?
20% the first time that they did it, and then we cut it down to 15%. That being said, the awards were much larger in the past. This go around, the awards are the same amount, and they're not as much. We had awards in previous years up to $10,000. That's not the case now, and so we have a set amount of money that we can spend per semester, and so the number was increased to 25%. And originally it was at 20%, so I don't know if that answered your question.
May I have a brief follow-up?
In the interest of time, I'll have to say no. We can discuss this
Understood.
later. With that, to speak on behalf of SGA Development, Jason Siptak. You have 5 minutes starting at
Howdy. Howdy. I'm gonna confess something. Every time I'm here up at the Sambo, I'm speaking in front of the Senate, I get so nervous. Like really, really nervous. And especially since everybody's here, the nervousness is just amplified. However, my name is Jason Siptak, and I'm the Development Commissioner of the Student Government Association. The Development Commission essentially has 3 responsibilities. 1, promoting SGA unity, which can be translated into internal communication. Number 2, being external communication, generating that student body dialogue. And number 3, maintaining the operations of the Path to Success BRIC campaign, which is essentially another source of revenue for SGA. I'm here to talk to y'all about SB 6311, which is also known as the in-state tuition bill. Personally, I'm extremely dissatisfied. However, it is not my goal to be subjective, but to more so be objective. So, I'm going to recite to you the Senate mission statement. And this is from the Senate website. The Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and communities through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institution. So, being that the Development Commission responsibility lies mainly in communication, I'm looking at this in a PR lens, in a communication lens, in a brand management lens. Essentially, SGA is a brand. So in order to maintain that brand reputation, I'm looking at SB 6311 in this lens. If this were to pass, this would shed so much light, so much negative light on student government. Not only on the Student Senate, but on student government as a whole, which consists of 1,400 plus members. Why? Because regardless of standing, whether you're for or against the bill, there was no substantive student opinion gathered. The Student Life Studies, the SLS survey, it was sent out last week or week before, I'm not sure of the logistics. However, it was not sent out prior to discussing this piece of legislation on the Senate floor, which to me is unacceptable, and I feel that it sends an extreme message, not only on behalf of student government, but on behalf of Texas A&M University, because essentially, the Student Senate passes legislation that is supposed to reflect the entire student body population, consisting of 49,500 plus students. So because research was not conducted, because student opinion wasn't gathered, passing this bill is not representative of students. Therefore, I feel that it should be sent back to committee, to the External Affairs Committee headed by you, until the senators do their job and communicate this to the students. Senators, they need to communicate. They need to communicate to the students. They need to do their job. Students need to be first. Thanks again.
All right, to close out open forum, Senator Rogers is going to read the mission statement.
Howdy.
Howdy.
In keeping with tradition, I'll be reading the mission statement. And the mission statement is that the Texas A&M University Student Senate represents all students in order to enhance the Texas A&M experience within our university and our communities through research, legislation, and advocacy in accordance with the core values of our institution. And those core values are excellence, leadership, loyalty, integrity, respect, and selfless service. Thanks and give them.
There you go.
With that, thank you to everyone for remaining attentive during open forum and for everyone coming. To address one concern that was brought to my attention, you might notice a lot of the senators in the room are on their laptops and are communicating through Facebook. They're using that as a tool in order to communicate with each other, primarily about legislation. So they're not just zoning out. I know some people are concerned about that, just so people are aware of the tools people are using to communicate. They used to actually have people walk around and hold up notes, but clearly that would be a little ineffective in this room. So with that, we will now confirm our new senators. So if you're one of our new senators, please come to the front.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Hey, so these are our 7 new senators that will, for the first time ever, I think this is the most senators who have ever attended a Senate meeting. So So we're filling the last few vacancies we have. Unfortunately, a couple more opened up while the process was going on, so we couldn't open those at the time because we hadn't solicited applications for those long enough. But for the rest, so we have Charles Nelson, who will fill the seat in General Studies, Carlos Falcon, Tyler Moglen, and Drew Barber, who will fill off-campus seats. Sam Hodges, who will fill a seat in Veterinary Medicine, and Fernando Aguilera and Jonathan Schindler, who will be sitting in engineering. And these are our new senators.
With that, are there any questions? Senator Womack?
Hi, Mark Womack, off campus. At the IA meeting where you guys decided, the new senators, were there minutes taken or was there a vote to make the meeting private?
I'll answer that. There was not a vote to make the meeting private. However, there was an understanding that it was a private meeting. So at that point, if someone had come into the room, we would have probably taken a vote to make it a private meeting. Seen as in the past, there's never been minutes taken at the IA meeting in which vacancy decisions are made just for the sake of the legitimacy of the process.
Thank you.
With that, are there any further questions? Senator Pulliam?
Just some polling polls real quick. I'd like each of y'all to answer some more, how to find out about this process.
Send a document to you. Facebook?
Website. Ruben's website.
A friend told me about it.
Word mouth.
Excellent, thank you guys.
With that, are there any further questions? Seeing none, I will have you senators please step outside for a second. And can we make sure the doors are shut and we'll move into a brief period of debate? With that, those wishing to debate for these confirmations? Senator Pulliam?
Justin Pulliam Bowles. I hope this is simple. I'm a little concerned that it may not be, but I don't know these guys. They look really awesome though. They found out about it from a diversity of means. So I think that means that our marketing is really getting, I think we're onto something here. I think we're doing a lot better job of marketing than the past. So let's applaud the officers, the operations team, everyone involved in that. I mean, this is a good sign. Now, our vacancy process, I've sat through a lot of these. I have a chance to participate in this, but I think we're really doing good. Of course, no one can select people better than the student body in a school-wide election. We can never do that. And I guess short of just randomly selecting people, the process that we have right now is dang good. And I'm sure that the senators and officers did a dang good job selecting these people. So let's make our own 2/3 vote. Gig him, or I guess I'll yield to Scott Willen in case he has anything to say. You good? All right, well, gig him.
With that, are there any wishing to debate?
Point of information.
State your point.
How many people, or who in this room was on the steering committee for reviewing or conducting not conducting interviews, but for I guess picking people to get interviews?
The people who showed up for the vacancy process.
Exactly. Yeah.
As y'all remember, I sent out an email to all of Senate. All senators were able to attend that. We had, I think, 5 people show up and vote on the applications, and then based on that, cuts were made, and then we had an interview round.
Who were the 5? That's what I'm asking.
Can those of you who were there please stand?
It was Catherine, Mark, Chris, Chair McDuffie, and there was a 5th person.
Will Rudy.
Oh, thank you.
With that, any wishing to debate against? Senator Womack.
Howdy. I'll start off on a bat. I don't have a problem with any of these people. That's not my problem. I got a different kind of problem. So here's what happened. I sat there and I thought about what I was going to do when this came, and I thought to myself, I told a lot of the new senators that I don't have a problem with them. I told, I don't want to do this in front of a lot of the people. We got more pressing issues, and also I thought how it would look, speaking up on behalf of my brother, who many of you know. I thought that would look biased, and at this point, I just don't care anymore. Because, if it was any one of you, you can bet that I would be up here saying the exact same thing. It is personal to me, because he is my brother, but I need to tell you what has been going on. Because week after week after week, he has told me to keep silent and to be respectful and not say anything. That time is over. So it's time for you to get a little timeline about what happened. So, last spring, my brother was enrolled in 4 different classes. He got kicked from one of those classes. That was Russian history. So
He gets kicked from this class. He gets alerted to it later on. Apparently, there's a snafu with financial aid. You can go talk to Nick Miller. You can go talk to Aaron Porter. Nobody knows what the heck happened. No one can tell you why he didn't get the financial aid in time. He was dropped from the class. At that point, he had to go do all these different things to get reinstated in the class. At that time, grade check came around, and his grades were above or below the minimum required because he did not have that Russian history A in his class. He went all the way through the class, and he got that A. Because of the grade check problems at that time, he didn't have it on his transcript. Well, Kyle went and he got that grade on his transcript. He got proof from his professor. He got proof from the Dean of Liberal Arts that he completed that class, and his transcripts today reflect that he has above the minimum standards for this body. But he was removed from Senate. So he came to student activities, and he was reinstated by talking to Sarah Edwards and Tim Sweeney. The exact metaphor was, if you're put in jail and you find DNA evidence to get you out of it, then you're free to go. At that point, it was the day before Development Day. At Development Day, Kyle was approached by Chair Thornburg, Hillary Albrecht, and Scott Bowen, saying because he appealed the grade of the professor, he was no longer allowed in Senate. After that, Kyle protested it through J-Court. They said that he couldn't go through with that, but they said the process was wrong. After that, Kyle applied for a vacancy. He did not get an interview. After that, Kyle played for this vacancy. He was not selected. He was a former Speaker Pro Tem of the student body, rightfully elected and removed in a process in which the Justice Court said was bankrupt. What's going on?
Speaking for Speaker Allwright.
Just to clarify what we're debating here, we're debating on the senators who are about to be confirmed pending a two-thirds vote. That's what we're hearing. There was a process for doing Senate vacancies. That process was followed. Every senator in this room was allowed to come and play a role in evaluating the people who applied, and based on that, people were given interviews. From that, we had 5 great interviews for off-campus. 6, excuse me, I stand corrected. 6 phenomenal interviews. We only had 3 vacancy spots. And maybe that's a good thing because it shows a lot of senators were sticking around. We only had 3 spots, and we had to fill those spots given the information we had, given the applications and interviews and the decisions made by IA. And I can stand up here and say with all my heart that it was a process filled with integrity, it was unbiased, and it was judged based on the people who applied and were given interviews. There was no preferential treatment given to anyone. And if preferential treatment had been given, then I do not feel like we would have been doing our job. And if people have a problem with anything that's going on, I would appreciate debate to be said right now. But I can say up here as the Speaker of the Senate that the process was done in the right manner and that there was no shady business going on. We did what we thought was our job, and if someone wants to file a J-Court case, they can do that. But right now we have 7 people who are waiting to be confirmed who want to be a part of this body and vote to represent students on field.
Mr. Speaker, previous question.
There's a motion on the floor for previous question. Do I see a second? Seconded by Chair Thornburg. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Nay. Previous question has been called. We will now move into a period of voting.
With that, I guess if there's no objection, we'll take a voice vote, or should we just do a ballot vote? There's a motion on the floor for a voice vote, multiple seconds. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes do have it. All those for confirming these 7 new senators, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes do have it.
And at all times to protect the welfare of the student body. And to promote good relations between students and to promote good relations between the students and those concerned with the university. Congratulations.
With that, we'll now move into a period of special presentations. I'd like to present Mr. Michael O'Quinn, the Vice President for Government Relations. Please close your laptops.
Howdy.
Howdy.
I'm Michael O'Quinn. I'm the Vice President for Government Relations, and I picked a good night to come talk. I thought I would maybe stay with a little bit less controversial, so I'll talk about the university's position on abortion, and we'll go from there. Hillary asked that I come and visit with you a little bit about what I do, and after you wake up, we'll talk about a little bit about what we think is going to happen in the legislative session, and maybe even now a little bit of what's going to happen in Congress. So, and then we'll take some Q&A, however you want to handle it. But most of what I do, particularly at the state level, relates to the state budget and A&M appropriations. About 20% of our operating budget comes from the state of Texas, but that 20% is really, really important because it pays for the bulk of the faculty salaries, staff salaries, a couple of various initiatives, but it's really the heart and soul of what A&M does, and that's the teaching aspect of the university. So the appropriation situation, if you've read the paper, is fairly bleak. Senator Steve Ogden, the state senator for our district, and he's also the chairman of the Finance Committee, is looking at a situation of a filed appropriation bill that will probably have 10% cuts for higher education. He's got about $89 billion. I think I was directed to the budget, right? Okay. Right. The $89 billion that they have to use for discretionary funding for the state is what they are currently operating on. He's anticipating this next biennium about $79 billion. So, you know, you can do the math. It's no bueno. So we've got $10 billion that we have to deal with, potentially with cuts. And that's not using the rainy day fund, which there's about $9 billion of that. That's excess money, all for various tax collections that they could have. That's just on the Senate side. The House bill, we're hearing, rumor is could be worse than the 10%. So the moral of the story is the appropriations to A&M and all universities could be significantly affected. So what does that mean? Well, we probably won't know until August because this is a redistricting year and members care about getting reelected. So nonetheless, there's a lot of important issues. So that's the primary thing that we're working on. The A&M request basically is, just to give you the frame of reference, is that we don't want to be cut disproportionately more than other entities of state government. This current fiscal year, the across-the-board cuts affected higher education disproportionately. Higher education represents about 12% of the state budget. But in the current FY, higher ed absorbed about 41% of that cut. So it is practically impossible for them to do that again. But even if they cut that in half, it'd be really significant. And it would put great pressure upon the institution. Probably the greatest financial situation that we would be in. So we're cautiously optimistic the economy will improve, sales tax collections maybe go up. If you haven't bought anything lately, go do it. We'll try to help the economy in any way. So we're really concerned about that. At the federal level, the budget deficit situation is real, and last night was a reflection of that. And so what's probably going to happen more than anything else is that the federal appropriations for things that we care about, like National Science Foundation, the Department of Energy, Office of Science, those things, the National Institute of Health that support our research, is probably going to be cut. We don't know at what levels. Our response to the federal government on that is that innovation matters. Innovation, you can grow it. And universities, we help with that. So, in a nutshell, that's what I've been up to. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer or leave.
With that, are there any questions? Senator Bland?
Justin Fillion Bowles. I'm very concerned about the budget reductions and the reallocation. But one question I had is if it would ever be possible to move to a system with the permanent university fund where we can start using some of that money for operations, and if so, what changes in the state would be necessary to make that happen?
Well, the permanent university fund money is already being used for operations. You've got, the permanent university fund is huge, billions of dollars that A&M and UT and Prairie View have access to, and the interest income off of that is called the AUF, the Available University Fund, and that's usually for excellence. Over the years, a lot of the AUF money has gone into general operations, and we're kind of concerned about that because, one, we've had to do that because you got to pay the light bill and other things too. We'd like for that money to be used for excellence, to go out and hire maybe superstar research or specific scholarships for National Merit Scholars, things like that. So I think we've kind of got the opposite situation of what you just described. Some would probably argue that we use too much AUF, which is the interest income off the PUF, for facilities or operations instead of, excellence, those things that other universities can't do, but A&M and Texas are supposed to do. So.
Well, that sounds good. We really thank you for informing us about that.
Sure.
Senator Young?
Cole Young, College of Engineering. My main question to you is, how does this affect, I've been asking a lot of my previous professors and the professors I have now, I've asked them, how does this affect the budget cut, how does this affect you personally? And a lot of them, they say, it hasn't really affected me, it hasn't done this, hasn't done that, but that's the engineering side. And then I went to ask my math professors, and some of them have been laid off because they're mainly lecturers. How are y'all affecting undergraduate education more so than just hiring a big name like you were, or getting a big name? How is this going to affect undergraduate education?
Yeah, this is an issue that the university struggles with, and as you can see, it's a college-by-college decision on how they handle this anticipation of the budget cut. I mean, technically, the state hasn't cut the university anything, but it's trending that way. So the university leadership decided to get out ahead a little bit, trim, try to be more effective, do as much as we're doing in terms of teaching loads and things of that nature, but with less money. So each college was left with the discretion on how to handle that. So the College of Science and the College of Engineering deans may have differed. Some colleges decided to hit lectures more. So what may happen is going to vary upon each college. So what you may see next semester is instead of a lecturer, you may see a tenured faculty member teaching that class instead. It should not affect the quality of the instruction. But again, I'm the government relations guy. I'm not the academic affairs guy. So disregard what I just said. But that's just from what I've picked up in our discussions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With that, Senator Chaudhary?
Mohammed Chaudhary, University Apartments. You mentioned reduction in NSF funding.
Yep.
NSF has different programs and different focuses.
Yep.
So can you elaborate, are they going to cut all the programs?
We don't know. We don't know. It may vary per, for example, if they go to 2008 levels, does that mean that they're going to give fewer, smaller grants, or or larger grants but fewer number, or I maybe got that reversed? But I think it's going to vary per NSF directorate or division. What probably will happen, it's just like when the Recovery Act, and they had this huge flood of money. They didn't know what to do with it, you know, and how are we gonna handle it? Each directorate handled it differently. I suspect that the budget cut, you'll have just the same situation. Each NSF directorate, whether it be in science or social sciences or whatever, will handle it however they want to, or whatever they think's best to accomplish whatever goal. But it's still unknown, but that's just me speculating.
May I have a brief follow?
Keep it brief.
Okay. So, will it affect NIH as well, or this is just specific to NSF?
I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see.
With that, Chair Caperton?
Clark Caperton, External Affairs. I know we've talked about this some, but you mentioned that, I know we all understand the importance of the investment in higher education and limiting that budget cutback as it pays dividends into the future from the state. But we also understand that there are certain demands that come with paying out to the other state agencies, other sacrifices that will have to be made. I guess my question is, we stand with the university in sending that message, but what have you been hearing, I guess, from legislators? I know obviously they don't want to make cuts to higher education, but that seems to be the easiest way, as you said. So what is the response you've been getting, and how can we best advocate for that message?
One of the things, last week there was an article in the Houston Chronicle, and they did a poll on where the Texas citizens felt the budget cut should come. And higher education was the one that generated the most attention, or the most popular place to cut. So needless to say, we went to DEFCON 1, got really nervous about, you know, what that meant. But if you listen to the comments associated with that article, it basically said that people said, well, you know, if a student is going to college, they're going to benefit from it, so they should pay for it. Why should I necessarily have to pay for it? So in essence, when I saw this, I sent it around to my colleagues and I said, you know, higher education seen as a private good instead of a public good. And this is a problem for us because the benefits that you receive, they are private benefits, but they're also public benefits. As you go out with your Aggie degree, get a job, generate jobs, be entrepreneurial, go into public service, what have you. It's a public good that's associated with that. So I think that if you have the opportunity to visit with elected officials, is to talk about that the benefit that you receive is not just a personal, private good that you're going to keep and contain within yourself, but the whole state of Texas is going to benefit.
With that, Senator Webb.
Preston Webb, Mace Business School. Thank you for coming to speak to us tonight, and I'm glad to ask you this question because I think you're closer to the government than a lot of the other speakers that we've had. In your conservative estimate, in your opinion, you can about 5% or 13%. How much should we plan for, even if you can comment on that? What's the worst case scenario?
I mean, 10, I think. I didn't think we'd get to a 10% cut. I thought we'd go with 5. This was several months ago. Now I'm looking at there's a real possibility we could have 10% cuts. The economy is responding, but it's not taken off like necessarily it should. But this is just pure speculation. But 10% cuts are real. It's a real possibility. The state of Texas is generally very conservative in how it doles out its money. It's not. They hope for the best but plan for the worst. And this is one reason why the state hasn't had the ebb and flow like California higher education has. My colleagues in the AAU that I deal with all the time, that's the 64 public research universities, when we have our little conference calls, you know, I always kid my colleague at UCLA whether or not I'm calling on a furlough day or not. I mean, this is, and it's because our legislators have been more judicious in the nature of appropriations. You know, we may not have had windfalls like others, but we do not have the spikes like they do. And as an administrator, planning is very important. So we've had more stable funding in the state. So, thank you.
With about a minute left, Senator McDonald.
Ron McDonald, Northside. I had a question. How does this affect the grad students? Because if
departments have been cutting down on the assistantships and increasing the workload and teaching load for the students. So how will this affect them?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's going to disproportionately affect graduate students if there is a cut. That's more of an internal decision. But I will say, you know, it's interesting. Grad students really never got much traction in the legislature. But lately I've noticed that, and maybe it's because of all this talk about trying to bring up other universities to be research equine universities like A&M, Texas, and Rice, then because of that, they know that grad students are important. So there's probably going to be a bill relating to graduate student insurance that's going to be positive to graduate students that I know a senator is going to file. So I don't think you're going to be disproportionately affected. You will probably be affected if the rest of the university is affected. But you know, please know that for the first time, I think that legislators feel that graduate education is important to the state.
Thank you.
Yep.
With that, Speaker Brown.
Scott Bowen, College of Engineering. You talked a lot about the state and federal levels of government. What is your office's relationship with the local government? I mean, College Station in Bryan and Brazos County.
Somebody else handles that in the office. They've got someone who handles the local stuff. So, to answer your question, nothing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With that, our time has now expired. Thank you, Mr. Michael.